Hi, I wanted to take a few minutes today to tell you about something going on in the world that you may or may not be aware of. Now, you may have heard that the FDA recently released their final deeming regulations deeming vapor products as tobacco products. Now, their press releases have said things like they're instituting a federal age limit and requiring child-resistant packaging and warning labels on their products. That all sounds like really good stuff. And for the most part, it is. It's also stuff that the industry's been doing by itself since the beginning. What they're not going to tell you about is the fact that this deeming regulation is going to wipe out the vapor industry. 99.9% of the products currently on the market will no longer be available once this goes fully into effect. Now, the reason for that is something called the PMTA. It's a pre-market tobacco application. Back in 2009, Congress passed the Family Smoking Prevention Tobacco Control Act. And in that act, they set a date, February 15th, 2007. All new products, which is any product that came out after that date, would have to go through a pre-market tobacco application. In that application process, a bunch of information submitted to the FDA, and what it needs to show is that your new product does not provide any new public health concerns. Now that sounds a little vague, and it is. To date, the FDA has only approved one PMTA, and that was for a non-combustible smokeless tobacco. All of the cigarettes currently on the market didn't have to go through this process. They were all grandfathered in. Let me say that again. None of the cigarettes currently available today had to go through a PMTA process. Now you may think, okay, what's the big deal? You have to apply for this and you have to prove that your product doesn't propose any new health concerns. Well, according to the FDA's estimates, each PMTA takes 5,000 man-hours or more, which translates to $1 million per product or more. One flavor of e-liquid is a product. Now let's say if you want to offer that flavor in 3 different nicotine strengths. That's 3 different products. Let's say if you want to offer your customers 2 different sizes of that one flavor in 3 different nicotine strengths. That's 6 products. $6 million or more to get those products approved. And the FDA doesn't have to approve them. Remember, they've approved one PMTA in the last 7 years, and it wasn't for an inhalant product. It was for smokeless tobacco, snus. What this means is that once these regulations go into full effect, none of the vapor products available today will be marketable, meaning they will not be legal to sell because none of them were around before 2007. So what the FDA is doing is they are turning the vapor product market over to big tobacco or eliminating it completely. Now what I mean by saying that they're turning it over to big tobacco, well, in the regulations themselves, the FDA states the only products likely to get approved would be those that are a completely contained system. Exactly like the ones brought to you by the same folks who brought you Camel, Marlboro, Newport. You've seen them out there. They're what we call cig-alikes. They look like a cigarette. They're about that big. They're the same shape and size as a cigarette. They're not very effective. Some people have used them to stop smoking, but they're not effective for most vapors. All of the new products that have been developed over the past 7 to 10 years, all of the second, third generation products, all of the abundant flavors that have given people options that they've used to choose an alternative to smoking, all of that goes away. The FDA doesn't even expect most of the products to submit an application. If they do submit an application, there's nothing guaranteeing that it will be approved. If you know a vapor, or if you know a smoker, or if you know anyone that may want to choose vaping in the future as a safer alternative to smoking, we need your help. Now, I'm not part of the vapor industry. I'm just a vapor myself. I smoked for 22 years, and 3 years and 4 months ago, I found vaping. And I haven't had a cigarette since. I don't want a cigarette. I don't want to go back to smoking. And I don't really have a fear that I myself will go back to smoking. I've got enough supplies to last me for quite a while. And if worse came to worse, I don't think I'd be tempted to go back to smoking. Though I can't say for sure. But I'm concerned. I'm concerned for the smokers out there. I'm concerned for the children out there. Every year, new people decide to start smoking. I'd like them to have the opportunity to choose a different alternative. I'd like every smoker out there to be able to choose a safer alternative. If you're watching this, you probably know me. And hopefully you love me to some extent. So you're concerned for me. If you don't know me, I'm sure you probably know someone else out there who does smoke. And if you love them, even if they're not thinking about vaping right now, do something to help them have a choice in the future. Now, in the comments of this, I'll post some links to places that you can help out. There are a few advocacy organizations out there that would love participation from smokers, vapors, non-vapors, non-smokers, everyone, because we need everyone. One of the major groups out there is CASA, C-A-S-A-A, and their website is casaa.org. Another great place to get some information would be notblowingsmoke.org. So hopefully you'll take a few minutes, take some time. There are a couple things that we can do right now. You can call your representatives and tell them to support moving the grandfather date for the deeming regulations. There are two paths to that right now working their way through Congress. One is H.R. 2058, and the other is the Cole-Bishop Amendment to the Agricultural Appropriations Bill. Both of those would move the grandfather date to the date when the deeming of new products goes into effect, meaning that at the very least, all of the products that are currently on the market would have the same foothold as cigarettes got back in 2007. So, thank you for your time, and I hope you help.